My earliest memory of God was when I was around age 8. I just remember looking off into the sky and talking to God and then asking if he was real. And when I said that, the whole sky lit up with lightning. And for me, that was just an affirmation. I knew at that moment that I wanted to follow him for the rest of my life. Although I did, want to follow God and I had faith, of course I messed up and made some bad choices. I did become pregnant at 16. Going through my teen pregnancy and a lot of the problems that I'd had in my first relationship created so much stress that I ended up dropping out of high school. And a few years later, I found myself working for Planned Parenthood. I felt like it was a great achievement to be offered this position as a manager to run this clinic. And that was my mindset initially going in, thinking that my hands were clean. I wasn't directly involved. I didn't facilitate in any way with abortion, but it wouldn't be until just a few months into working for Planned Parenthood that I realized that that was not the case. I remember a young woman coming in. She was a college-aged young lady. I sat her down in the exam room and said, congratulations on your pregnancy. But I had failed to see that the young woman wanted a referral for abortion. And she said, I've made my decision. This is what we want to do. And my boyfriend and I have talked about it. And I said, okay. And so I gave her, the form that has the information to where she could receive her abortion. And of course, one of them being, the Planned Parenthood. She left in tears. And I went into my office and I shut the door and I began to cry. I just felt like I had betrayed God. And I felt like I was betraying everything that I had believed in and held dear and true to myself for so long. And so I had to confront that head on. And that was something that I found very difficult because I wanted to keep my job, but then I had all of these moral conflicts that were taking place. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror most days. Because I realized that by being silent and by making referrals and by not speaking up for these innocent babies in the womb and their mothers, that I was directly facilitating an abortion and I was directly involved in a great deal of sin. When I walked away from Planned Parenthood, I walked away from everything, and we didn't know where that next paycheck was going to come from. We didn't know how we were going to pay for the mortgage or pay for our car. And I thought back to that time when I was a little girl, 8 years old, and telling God that I would always follow him. And I felt like for me, this was a second chance. Even though I didn't know exactly where God was calling me, I knew that God was calling me to always speak up and not be silent anymore.